don't even know how to start this. I don't. This particular subject has fucked me up my whole fucking life. It's part of the reason why I am who I am today. And certain people can take that in a good or bad way. Honestly, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm tired of living with this fucking secret. I was told to shut up. I was told not to say anything because it can tarnish relationships, it can burn bridges. Can you imagine being sexually abused or molested and for someone to tell you, don't say anything, it's just gonna ruin everything, it's gonna burn bridges, blah blah blah? Do you know how fucked up that sounds, how fucked up that is, and how fucked up it is to live with something like that? My whole life, growing up, my family has judged me for my behavior, for the way I look, for the way I dress, for the way I talk, for the way I act. For being half black, for being different. I didn't grow up with my black side of the family. I was raised by my mom's side. When I was 8 years old, me and my brother would be babysat by my Lula Bibi and my Lulu Fred. In the Philippines, we call Grandma and Grandpa Lulu and Lula, but they weren't my real Grandma and Grandpa, more like a great aunt and a great uncle, but they were already very old, so just out of respect, we call them Lulu and Lula. Like I said, I was 8 years old, and I remember the first time it happened. We would be watching TV, and my Lulu Fred would call me over. He had a special chair that he always sat in. It was always the one next to his room. And my Lulu Fred and Lula Bibi did not sleep in the same room, by the way. My Lula Bibi had her own room, and he had his own room in the front house where the living room was located. He told me to come over and to sit on his lap. I'm 8 years old. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do what he tells me to do, and I sit on his lap. And it first started off like that, you know, sitting on his lap, and he would rub my thighs and stuff, and I just thought he was doing that as a way of showing love and affection, because I really thought that he cared about me. And then he would tell me to stand up and stand right in front of him, and he would put his hands in my pants. And that's when alarms started going off in my head, when I knew that something was wrong. I knew that somebody like him shouldn't be doing that to somebody like me. It went on like this for days and weeks and months, then a year, and every single time it got worse and worse. And then one day he stuck his fingers in my 8-year-old vagina. And of course I jerked away and was completely terrified of that. But every single time he would do something like that to me, my brother would turn around and not look. My brother was sitting right there and would turn and not look. Now, me and my brother have a good relationship right now, but growing up, we were not close. We hated each other. We always got into fights. Maybe it was that triggered it, I don't know. But I do know that every time he would finish touching me, he would tell me to go to his room and he would let me pick a candy bar. He had Butterfingers and Kit Kats, Crunch bars. He also had these chocolate pies, apple pies, lemon pies. And I was a skinny little kid. I was probably as skinny as Trinity. And over the weeks and months and that year, you know, I gained a lot of weight. Do you know I was 127 pounds in 5th grade? I guess I was overeating to cope with feeling disgusting. I always felt like a piece of shit. Then one day at school, we had this class, and the instructor told us, he grabbed a doll and showed us and said, kids, you know, it's not okay to be touched here, here, and here. These are your private areas. These are areas that should be respected and not touched by anybody, unless it's a doctor and your parents are in the room, or unless it's your parents giving you a bath. So when I saw that, it really blew my fucking mind, because I was like, oh shit, I mean, that's exactly what was happening to me, and those are exactly the places that I've been touched. I mean, this guy rubbed my nipples, he made me take my shirt off, he pulled my pants down, he had his hands in my butt, he had his hands in my vagina, and I'm this 8-year-old girl trying to process everything and not understanding what is going on. So I go home after school that day, whenever we had that class, and I grab a doll and I tell my mom that I need to talk to her. So she goes to her room, she sits on the bed, and I grab the doll and I point at the private parts and I say, Mom, Lulu Fred touches me here, and here, and here. And at first she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, that he does that and it hurts and it doesn't feel good and it makes me feel very uncomfortable. And she said, okay, well, you don't have to go back there. So we got bounced around. Me and my brother got bounced around from different places to be babysat. All of them were horrible, horrible situations. But I never got molested after that. But I think in total, because it happened when I was 8 years old and didn't end until I was almost 10, it happened for a pretty fucking long time. And the whole time I was being bribed with candy bars and with chocolate pies and fruity pies and stuff that comes in those little wrappers. And he told me not to tell anybody, because what he's doing is just making sure that my body parts are okay and checking if anything is wrong with me. That's what I was told. So finally, after so many failed attempts at shitty ass babysitters, my mom finally lets us stay home by ourselves, and we lived in the apartments in the hood. So it was just me and my brother. But every single day being home alone with my brother, I always got beat up all the time. And even growing up, even after I had my daughter Trinity, I was always getting beat up by my brother. He would start it, I would start it, he would finish it. I ended up with so many concussions, had the ambulance called multiple times, bleeding, blood everywhere. So that was my first real taste at domestic violence. My mom never ever laid a finger on us growing up, but my mom did get physically, sexually, and mentally, and physically, emotionally abused by my father whenever we were little. That's when we were in Indiana. So that's why we came here to Texas when I was 5, and ever since then, that's when we were being babysat by Lulu Fred and Lula Bibi. Lula Bibi had no idea. She was always in her room, or she was at an appointment, or she was in the garden. He always did it when there were nobody around except for my brother. And it really fucked me up mentally, especially after I told my mom. I thought, because of what the school officials told us, is that whenever you tell an adult, the adult will tell the police and they will handle it. So that I was under the impression that he was going to go to jail, or, you know, he was gonna go away forever. However, my mom didn't say anything to anybody. She kept that a secret and just took us out of that situation. That didn't do anything but fuck me up. Part of the fucking reason why I would always hang out with the wrong crowd, why I always got into fights, why I knew about sex so early. Mind you, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 16 years old, but I didn't even give a fuck when I lost it. It wasn't anything special to me because I knew I was a piece of shit, and I knew that I wasn't capable of being loved. And those are facts. When I was living with my mom and my brother graduated high school, he went to the army, so it was just me and my mom living there, and we fought every single time. Me and my mom are extremely close, but we fought a lot. And I had so many suicidal moments. I would slice my arms up, I would slice my thighs, I would slice my inner thighs, I would cut my neck, I would try my best to fucking bleed out, and I guess I just never cut right. And I guess a part of me didn't want to die at that moment, but I really just wanted to be heard. I really wanted to be believed. And I figured, hey, I'm already 14, I'm already 15 years old. Who the fuck is gonna believe me? I'm pretty close with Lulu Fred's children, which are my aunts and uncles. And what would they think? Their dad couldn't possibly molest me, or molest a child for that matter. Are you serious? Their precious daddy would never do that to a child. Their dad is not a pedophile. So why would I say anything? To be a liar? They already think I'm a piece of shit. They already think that since, you know, we grew up in the hood, and that we grew up around a lot of black people and a lot of Mexican people, that we ain't shit. Mika fights a lot. Mika does this. Mika does that. Mika's always into something. Mika's always getting in trouble. Mika failed this grade. Mika gets bad grades. Mika's always distracted. Nobody. I can't trust anybody. When I found out that I was pregnant with a girl, my guards went up, like I said. I could not imagine a world without me killing somebody to protect my child. I will fucking kill someone if they ever fucking put their fucking hand on my kid. So I just don't understand why nobody stood up for me when I was little. A little 8-year-old girl with a fucking old man's fingers in her fucking vagina, in her fucking ass, on her fucking nipples. I'm 8. I don't have anything. Nobody was my voice. Nobody stood up for me. Instead, my whole family would talk shit about me. How I'm such a troubled child. How I'm the one with the most fucking issues. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because he touched me? Because he fucked my life up? I could never trust men after that. I honestly don't even know how I even got Kenny, my husband. How can someone love somebody like me? I am trash. I do care about people, but at the end of the day, I do feel like used up garbage. I don't feel like I deserve to have my daughter my amazing daughter. I don't feel like I deserve to be married in a happy relationship. I don't feel like I deserve to be a burden to everybody around me because of my mental illness that I got. I have PTSD. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, with chronic depression. I have to take medicine for the rest of my fucking life just to control my fucking brain. In the first few years of my relationship with my husband, he almost died. And nobody ever knew that. I'm a fucking terrible fucking person. And maybe that's why all this stuff did happen to me. Maybe I'm paying for karma from a past life. Maybe I was such a bad person before. Maybe I did deserve all of this, but all I know is that nobody protected me. Not my brother, not my mom. Didn't have a dad growing up. Didn't have any other siblings. Wasn't close to a lot of cousins. And not to mention I was the black sheep of the family. Who would believe me? Who would believe the gangster, gutter, thug ass bitch like me? Really? Who? Who would believe the girl who got pregnant at 17 years old? Seriously, who? And who would believe me coming out at the age of 28 when this happened a long time ago? I always felt like I had nobody in my corner, but you know what? I made up for it by always having other people's backs. I always made sure that nobody would hurt my friends or my family or tarnish anything. I always made sure that I protect the people that I love, people that I care about, because I don't want them to feel what I felt growing up. So, I kept that in my fucking head, in my mind, in my body for so many years that it has eaten me alive. It has jeopardized my health, especially my mental health. It's ruined a lot of relationships with my friends, with my family. It makes me paranoid. You think just because somebody is your family, they'll have your back, but really at the end of the day, people really only care about themselves. It's very rare if you meet somebody who's real. It's very rare when you meet somebody who helps you. It's very rare to know somebody that will still defend your name when you're not in the same room. I don't have a lot of people like that. It's very, very hard for me to make friends. It's very, very hard for me to trust people. My past is very dark. Like some of you, I'm sure a lot of you have had a lot of fucked up moments in your lives. And as fucked up it is to say, I'm sure a lot of you have been raped and molested. And I'm sure a lot of you have kept it a secret for a long fucking time. But you know what? I was 8 years old when this happened. And someone should have stood up for me. Someone should have had my back. Someone should have went to the police for me. Someone should have done something to help me. I carried all this weight my whole fucking life. I still don't know how to deal with it. My aunts and uncles, if they're watching this, I have no idea if they think I'm a piece of shit. I have no idea if they think I'm lying. But all I have in my head is the burned image of my Lulu Fred sticking his fingers in my 8-year-old vagina, in my butt, on my nipples, not even developed, didn't even start my period. My brother turns a blind eye while he's in the room. And don't even get me started about when he would tell me to go inside his room, and it didn't happen in the living room. I had nightmares for a very long time after that happened. I even had nightmares of my brother sexually. Sorry, my phone fell. I even had dreams of my brother sexually assaulting me. My brother never touched me, but I was so fucked up. I have bad PTSD from that. And so one time I was sleeping, and my mom had fell asleep with me in my bed, and I had a dream that my brother touched me on my private parts, and I woke up and punched my mom in the head. I punched her so fucking hard that my mom actually started crying. And I just remember like snapping out of it and apologizing and telling her that I'm so sorry, that I didn't mean to do that. And it happens all the time. I always have dreams that I'm being sexually assaulted. I'm always having dreams that I'm 8 years old or 9 years old and somebody touching my private parts. I always have that. When I was 17 and I had my daughter, a month later, I finally said, okay, you know what? I need to go see a psychiatrist because I don't want to kill myself. I have an infant. I need to be there for her. So I went to go see a psychiatrist, and after, he evaluated me, and after a few sessions, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and anxiety disorder. And he prescribed me this medication, this bipolar medication that were fucking huge ass pills. And I just looked at the bottle and I fucking threw it. And I was like, I'm not going to take this medication. I'm okay. I can get through this. At least I know that this is what I have, and, I'll work through it. So I did. And it fucked everything up. I mean, I've had the cops called on me so many fucking times. I've had my mom and my brother threaten to send me to a psychiatric hospital because I would flip out and I couldn't control anything anymore, and I'd break everything in the house, and mirrors would be broken, blood would be everywhere, and it would just be really bad. Then I met Kenny when I was 22, and obviously my life changed after that day. I mean, I realized that I found my fucking soulmate. I found the love of my life. I found somebody who sees me for me, somebody who supports me and cares about me. And I didn't let him meet Trinity right away. It took about 3 or 4 months. But they clicked, they bonded instantly, and I was just like, do I even deserve this? Do I deserve to have somebody so good? I mean, Kenny has literally been there for me through everything. He is the only person who knows about the sexual abuse that I had when I was a kid. And he would let me cry in his arms, and he told me that I'm so strong and that when I'm ready, I will come out. But I still never did. I was always afraid that my aunts that I love so much, that my cousins that I love so much would disown me, would hate me, would think I'm a liar, because Lulu Fred is their dad, is their grandpa. And I'm just their distant black cousin. Well, he ended up dying. I think he died when I was like 12 or 13 or something. And I remember my mom telling me, well, don't worry about it. He's dead now and he's in hell paying for what he did to you. As if that was supposed to make me feel better. As if that was supposed to make the pain go away. And I love my mom to death. Me and my mom are so close, but I resent her. I resent her because she didn't have my back. She didn't tell the police. She didn't tell the family. She didn't do anything. After that happened, I was always desperate to look for people to give me attention, to find people to love me. I always had that problem. Even if it was bad attention. I did a lot of bad shit in my life. I hurt so many people. And I don't just mean emotionally, I mean physically. I hurt so many people in my life. I beat people up, I hurt them, I robbed them. And I just feel like somebody who can do those things to other people are just evil. People like that, people who hurt people, don't deserve to be here. Which is a lot of the reason why I feel like, what is the point to be here? I feel like a lot of what I do is a burden to a lot of people, and I don't want to cause pain to people, stress. You know, I always do my best to be a good mom to my child. I always do my best to be close to her and guide her and tell her about the world. I don't sugarcoat anything for my daughter. I tell her shit straight up. Because there's motherfuckers out here who try to rob children of their fucking innocence. And my daughter's 10 and I was 8 when I was fucking molested. These kids, children need somebody to vouch for them. They can't do it themselves. Nobody believes a child. Nobody. They think they're making it up. I don't know why a lot of my friends are dead and I'm still here. That doesn't make any sense. I'm the piece of shit. Why am I here? That doesn't make any sense to me. My friends had children. My friends had multiple children. I only have one. My friends were good people. But if anybody is watching this, and if you could take anything that I say out of this video, is if somebody did something to you to hurt you, whether you were a child or a full-grown adult, you need to come out and say it, because it will ruin your life. I know I seem like a very happy person. I'm a very funny person. I like to make jokes. I'm very vulgar. I'm stupid sometimes. But life is so fucking hard. Dealing with this type of trauma really fucks your life up. It affects me every single day in my marriage, in my parenting, in my friendships. But I just want you to know something. if you're my friend, or if you're my family, I literally will not let anybody fuck with you. I will do whatever the fuck I can to make sure that you are okay. Because I don't want anybody to ever feel alone. I thank God every day for my husband, because I feel like without my husband, I would not be able to make it emotionally and mentally. My daughter keeps me going, because I feel like if I'm gone, who the fuck is gonna have her back? Who is gonna be there for her? Who's gonna be her voice? I have to do it. I have to be there. And you know, suicide does cross my mind a lot, because you feel guilty, you feel disgusting, you feel like a piece of shit. But I have a kid, I have a daughter, and my daughter fucking needs me. And I will be damned if any of this happened to her. I will kill anybody who ever does this or ever tries to do this to my child. Nobody should have to go through that type of pain. But I said it, and that's the God honest truth. I was molested by a family member that was trusted to babysit me. Family can fucking rape you. Friends can rape you. Anybody with a human shell of a body can do anything to you. So you really need to be vigilant. You need to listen to your children. You need to trust your gut, your instinct. You need to speak up for these people, because especially if it's a child, they cannot fucking do it. If they tell you, believe them. Eventually down the line, you'll figure out if it's true or not, but believe them. Don't make the same mistake that my mom did, or that any other family member did, that witnessed or that saw or that knew and never said anything, because that will lead to suicide, that will lead to heavy drug abuse, that will lead to alcoholism, that will lead to prostitution, that will lead to everything wrong in life. I can't say that I feel better that I've said something, but I know that I had to. It was eating me alive. But it made me who I am today. My daughter was a planned pregnancy. Just happened to be with the wrong motherfucker. And I'm so glad I cut that bitch off while I was still pregnant. Never had a chance to see her. Never had a chance to be in her life. I was abused physically and emotionally and mentally by this person. Almost killed twice. And I decided to fucking leave. And it was the best decision of my life, because I met my husband. I met my husband about 4 years later, and he is the best father in the entire fucking universe. And I would never change that for the entire fucking world. So please, 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 if there's something on your mind and you want to let it out, fucking let it out. Like I said, I have aunts and I have cousins and I have uncles who are the children of Lulu Fred, who are the grandchildren of Lulu Fred, and I'm sure when they see this, they will be shocked. They might believe me, they might not, but pedophiles come in all shapes and sizes. Pedophiles. Like I said, you need to be more vigilant, watch your children, and make sure that you listen to them.